Thunderstruck, AC/DC. That's what it was for those of you wondering what I just played. I'm all jacked up. We're ready to do some things. Let's make some things happen. Let's get right back to
Paying
this.
too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charley from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
I'm just saying, if that doesn't get you lit up, I don't know what does. And maybe we can't be friends. I'm just saying, I don't know. Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Has YouTube shut us off yet?
No, man. We can play a few seconds. I ain't going to get mad about that.
Okay.
That was AC/DC Thunderstruck from the official video. Just saying, go check it out on their YouTube channel. You should do that. It's important that you do that thing. Oh, God. I needed a big... I got like a normal person's headache and I was telling Jeff just for the show, a normal person headache happening, and then a migraine that's trying to come in. It's like had 2 today already. I really wish this other medicine would show up so I could just stab myself in the neck with it. And, fix the headache. Don't be morbid, people. Just saying.
Nope, not going there. All right. Donna will get mad at me. Even
Mike said, can you say demonetized? It's okay. I played precisely 10 seconds. Some magic numbers in the works here. Just saying. And you know what? I don't even care about this one. Look, if they hit it, they hit it. Whatever.
It's not in our shorts. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. Craig Hutchinson, what's up, buddy? Chris Hamilton, Mike Henderson, Trucker Tim, Nicholas Earl. Good God, there's a few over here. Bitcoin John, TK, my brother from another mother, Jonah Green, David Dunn, good to see you. Jim Walls all up in this place. There's too many to click on, but y'all know who is first, so we're not even going to go there. Daggone Craig. And just in case anyone wanted to call Craig out, because Craig went around and posted did my Facebook postings today, we were pretty sure people were going to be like, oh, well, he knew ahead of time. I didn't actually ask him until I saw that he posted first. And then I'm like, hey, Craig, will you do this thing for me? And it was kind of funny because I figured people would do it. So look, this is the order of operation right here. Craig posted. That was at 1:48 p.m. my time. 1:49 p.m. was me. 1:50 p.m. I literally just opened the app, he said. And then I put him to work at 1:50 p.m.
I just think it's entertaining that you care so much that you got to point that out.
Well, people would have been like, Craig's cheating. Well, I mean, he's already a robot. Everybody knows that. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Mr. Roboto.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Oh, we're so canceled. Hey. So, since you're not on Facebook, Charlie.
Dude, it's driving me nuts.
So, not in our group so much, but in the other Swift groups, the pre-trip inspection thing has yet again raised its ugly head. How much time you need to spend on a pre-trip. And what's the real answer to that, Charlie?
As long as it takes you to do a pre-trip.
Right. So today was a perfect example for me, and I'm going to show you what one of our Transmex siblings left for me on a trailer.
Nice. That's a beautiful piece right there.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful, man?
That is in great shape.
Not a whole lot of time, but that took me extra time. Because I don't know, even with I do the whole screwdriver thing to pop them out, but for some reason today I was having a hard time with it. It probably took me 2-3 minutes to pop this thing out of there.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, if all you're doing is stem to stern and nothing's wrong, yeah, right. I mean, honestly, I can knock that out in 15 minutes. But you throw one little thing in there, you got to switch out a light, you got to deal with glad hand issues.
Here's a funny thing I didn't know,
all sorts of things.
Like your company could have a policy. Like I didn't know what Swiss policy was, but apparently they want a minimum of 30 minutes logged.
For company drivers.
For company drivers. Yeah, not contractors. That's not in my contract. Good luck with that one. We need to follow DOT regulations, and that's what we do.
As a matter of fact, as part of that, since we're contractors, so we don't have access to the company side's portal.
Right.
Somebody did post a screenshot of what the company side's policy is, and it does say 30 minutes minimum.
That's a trip to me. It just seems like you're asking for trouble,
but anyway, on the owner operators portal, though, if you go down to safety, and inspections, all it says is a little blurb about how important it is, and taking care of your business, right. Downtime, and then it has a recommended, and it says that we recommend this checklist.
Hey, that's fair. I'll accept that.
And it's the same checklist that they gave me when I was in the Swift Driving Academy in 2006. The little paper is the same exact one.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Oh,
so yeah, do the right thing, but contractors, owner operators, whatever, don't let anybody bully you into stuff.
Say no to bullying.
Unless you sign a contract that stipulates that you have to do a 30-minute pre-trip, I'm just going to say it, and Donna, I'm sorry, they can pound sand as far as I'm concerned.
The words.
I know. Both us and Swift live and die by that contract. I'm sorry.
Right.
They're going to hold us to some things that we think are BS, but we signed the contract. Okay. Well, they signed it too. So exercise your rights according to the contract, man. That's all I'm saying.
Look at Nick trying to just stir trouble up. He's like, let me just get it out of the way.
You know the answer to that, Nick.
No.
Do you have access to it? No. Okay, there's your answer. Last time I talked to Jerry, he had revised the estimate to the end of April instead of the 1st of April, which I think is. I mean, that's what they've done every single time.
They could have won mad points coming out on April 1st, being like, here's the release of the load board, everybody. April Fools.
Yeah, they could have even like come up with a special landing page. Yeah, go here to sign up. And gotcha.
I know, Nick. Jeff doesn't pay attention to anything like that, but I do. I know you're not contracted over here anymore, but it's okay. Oh, Bull Send Trucking. Good to see you, Mr. Sean. Sorry for you, brother. Michael Fowler, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yeah, look at you offended poor Mike Henderson's virgin ears, Jeff.
I've talked to Mike Henderson on the phone.
I don't look. That's not here.
And
That's different.
Different
world.
Okay, Mike.
Oh, Chris said, shout out to Jeff for the help over the weekend.
Yeah, we texted back and forth about a lot of stuff this weekend. He's heading up to Oregon, and we actually did some math.
Ugly maths. And when we're
Yeah,
talking
and if
about
you
Oregon, it is ugly math.
and if you guys were paying attention to the comments earlier, yeah, he now understands what traveling in the state of Oregon costs his business. And we talked about when to and when not to go to Oregon. And I'm from there originally. I'm a refugee from Oregon. And yeah, man, it was over $300 in tax for me to go home. That's what it cost me on the average. And no IFTA. And we did the math on difference between Oregon and California, Charlie.
Yeah.
And when you break down that $1.09, if you're getting at least 8 miles per gallon, as you know, California participates in IFTA, so they have a fuel tax. So you get charged on the fuel that you burn, not the fuel that you purchase. And we came up with 11.8 or 9 cents per mile to run the state of California. That's the tax in California when you break it out that way. Oregon's 29 cents a mile. No ifs, no ands, no buts for us. So it's more expensive to run Oregon
and or buts.
Right. Yeah. You're being funny. I get it. But yeah, so Oregon, where I was born, raised, and spent most of my life, it's quickly becoming more expensive than California in a lot of different ways. So, things to look out for. I do go there from time to time, though, and you guys that are in the private Facebook group always give me raspberries for it because I said when I left there I was never going back. But there are those times, I've gotten to know the planners in West Valley City at this point a little bit better. And I could just ask them, I'm like, look, man, that Oregon tax and me, and it's a killer for my business, man. Do you have anything that's not going? I'll go to California. I'll go to LA. Send me to LA. I'll do that. No, man, this is what we've got is this load going to Gresham, Oregon.
Last resort.
Okay, well, if that's what we've got, that's what we've got. But I ain't going to like it.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing I tell them is make sure you do that macro 10 before you get up there so they can start looking for you. Because the Troutdale guys, they do planning for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and parts of Montana, I believe. And they're pretty good.
GW bowl smells like garlic. Sorry. Charlie's joke fell on deaf ears. Jeff can't hear because I laughed. Yes, sir. You got my back. To heck with Jeff and his big old mean face.
I acknowledged your joke. I acknowledged it. I come on, man. What do you want from me?
Hey, Sean has a question. It's an important question. Are any of y'all non-Swifties hauling bulk grain? If so, hey, let us know. Hey, you don't have to change accounts. That's fine. I don't care. Come on, man. What's up, Mike? I mean, Narc, dude. Gosh. Oh. Hey, James. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Narc, we should fight someday. I'm just saying. We'll do charity. Unlike other people, you and I, we could actually fight because if we say we're going to fight, we're going to fight. Just saying, that's inside stuff that no one else understands. So, whatever. That's cool. So, where the hell were we, man? That guy right there.
Yep.
I want to fight him for those glasses. Is that wrong? Because I want those glasses.
Okay.
Hey, Narc, I was going to show up at Matt's but I'm not now because it's like next weekend. And I didn't make any plans anyhow. And I would absolutely have fought you at match for those glasses, bro. If you bring those, we could do it. So if you knock me out, I get those glasses. That's what I heard. I'm just saying, whatever.
That might be a good.
See what
That
I
might
did
be a
there?
good event.
Bro, I will beat your fist up with my face like you've never had done before. You just don't even understand. Man, it's good to see you, dude. I haven't talked to you in a minute. Glad you're here. Glad you popped in. Hello, all you NFG folks that are going to be popping in and out. Maybe, I don't know if you're here, if you're not. Hey, doing your thing. I dig it. So what the hell are we doing? I feel like I need to play more AC/DC, but I can't.
No. Oh, Narc's gonna get you a pair.
Nice. I don't know, man. I feel like if I get them from a beating, though, isn't that more special? I don't know.
I want you to have those in Mississippi when we're there.
Oh, God, that would be hilarious. Those people would be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
I want you to walk up to Jeff Reese wearing those.
Well, since we're not going technically as Contractors Corner,
right?
I don't know. Maybe I try to keep a persona for Contractors Corner and stuff. Just saying. Got to be the.
I wish you wouldn't.
Business professional. Hey. What?
I wish you wouldn't.
It doesn't. Oh my God. Temple. I like Temple. James getting ready to go to Temple. Temple was fun. I like that place. That's like the best Walmart DC that I ever worked for, honestly. Good evening, Trucker Dan.
You almost made a mistake. I could see it.
I couldn't figure out which hand, and I was gonna hit the mic, and it would have been over here. Look, that's all you would have seen. So I started editing our Tony Dennis podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We had so many problems recording that it took me 3 hours to get through the first 18 minutes of the podcast. The rest shouldn't take me that long, but it literally took me 3 hours to get through the first 18 minutes of the podcast to get it chopped right. We had so many technical issues at the start of that. It was crazy. Yeah. I'm so just burnt right now.
It'll be a good one, though.
I think so. What's up, Live on 18 Wheels? Good to see you. Good to see you. Just saying. Oh, there was some stuff. What was I was going to talk about something. Can't remember what it was. See if I got some notes.
Uh-oh. Charley writing notes. The world is ending.
Well, no. Okay. So in the description, we talked about if you actually looked at that stuff in the YouTubes, future-proofing your business, and tech trends to watch. Future-proofing your business. As in an industry of dynamic as trucking, staying ahead means being proactive. We're discussing strategies to future-proof your operations against challenges on the horizon. I'd actually like to dip into that a little bit if y'all don't mind. I mean, if you guys got something you want us to talk about specific, by all means, put that down there in the chat and we will start dipping into that. But until that happens, I want to talk about something. And part of future-proofing your business, in my opinion, look at glad hands. I like it. That's magic fingers. I got so many jokes that are inappropriate for here right now. I just don't even understand what's going to happen right now. Like it's smoking and grinding in my head. Oh, Jeff, the things you do. Hey, are you guys watching what's going on in your business? Whether you're at a mega carrier, a small place, things like that. I think future-proofing is, to me, is looking at what the trends are, whether it's your individual company or the industry as a whole. Looking at our individual company, our contract carrier, I hear an awful lot of grumblings, even though I haven't been on the Facebooks in over a week, which is driving me completely bonkers.
No, but I screenshot the good ones and text them to you.
He does. He sends them to me. I'm like, why can't I comment? But it's cool. I think it's funny because there is an awful lot of people that just cannot find freight in any sort of regular flow. And there are others who are doing just, I mean, killing it, which is weird and great for them. When talking to people, I think you should ask questions such as, okay, if you're doing so great, what is it you're doing? And have a conversation about what's different between your operation and their operation, right? I'm not telling anybody to jump ship, so don't take this next bit as anything that like that. What I'm saying is you should always be looking. I'm not saying you should always be jumping ship, because Lord knows that grass is greener thing is bitten an awful lot of people in the backside. Like, oh my God. And they get over there and find out it's just bull crap. And that's why the grass is so damn green, right? But I think you should be doing some very serious looking in many, many places, which, I mean, full disclosure, Jeff and I are always looking. I'm going up to Mississippi in next month to go meet some people.
Yep.
And, have some conversation with the folks at ES.
And so what that is, guys, by the way, and if you're interested, there is limited seating on this thing. So if you want to go to it, you can go to it. What we're talking about is the site conference that's held by ES Success in Trucking every year. So a lot of you guys know about ES Advantage because we talk about their fuel card, but it's not all they do. They're not a carrier. They're more of a business services company. So they lease trucks. They get you hooked up on a contract with one of their preferred carriers, typically at a better rate than what you would just walk in off the street and get from these carriers. Very specialized freight, though. It's really, really tough. That's one of their requirements, because they do a lot of like that military and medical stuff. Right. Is what they prefer to get guys hooked up with, because let's face it, it's more lucrative than dry van line haul.
Right.
They do expedited freight. So those straight trucks you see doing 200 miles an hour down the road because they got to get there yesterday type stuff.
Might have a 5-pound box in it, strapped down on a pallet. It's amazing to watch.
And, it's paying $4 a mile. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, so we got invited to this thing, and we're going to find out what we can about that side of the business and continue growing our relationships over there. If you're signed up with Trucker CFO, every time I talk to him about my business, Charlie, every time I told you this, I actually had lunch. I actually had lunch with him here last week. He's like, well, have you thought about this carrier or that carrier? Because he can't say real numbers for his clients. That's illegal. But he'll like beat around the bush with you a little bit and say, well, if you're not doing so well there, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?
Right.
It's good to have a guy like that on your team. I'm just saying.
Look, Jeff didn't know I was going to go down this path today. He's just like, bam, okay, let's do this. But yeah, it's April 11th and 12th. It's called Site.
And I actually downloaded the little advertisement thing that says I'm going. So we need to get that up on our website and on our Facebook and all that. So.
Well, I can't do any of that. So yeah, it's all you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You're welcome.
Fraction.
I think
Rosie's.
I think I'm gonna go through. She's not in all the groups that I'm in. That's what the funny part. She's like, that's too many truckers. I think I'm gonna go through Rosie's Facebook to get a hold of Facebook and be like, hey, dummies. Oh, please don't ban me for that. Anyhow, they're watching my channel right now. They're like, oh, you just called us dummies. You're never getting back in, whatever. Anyhow, so they made me go. They had this whole 2FA, 2-form authentication crap set up with Facebook. And I can't use it because I don't have access to the 2FA stuff, right? So I did the whole identity thing, sent them ID and all that stuff. And they're like, great, we know it's you. So just log in now. Use this password. We've reset it for you. And then when I go to do that, it's like, now use your 2FA thing to get the rest of the way logged in. I'm like, this is the whole reason I did this, because I can't get that. What is wrong with you people? And they clearly, and then you can't respond to that email. So I have to figure out other avenues to get a hold of them, because I'm not happy. Doesn't cost anything, Trucker Tim. He asked if it was free to attend. It's not going to cost you anything but your time. Just don't ask to go if you're not going to go, because it's costing them money. Like legitimately, this is
it really is a
thing for them.
recruiting effort for them.
Right. They're trying to, gross their stuff. And being that Jeff and I are always looking, and we have a relationship with these guys, and we like to get a better relationship in that other side so we can learn more about it. We're in. We'll be there. We got some great people talking about a bunch of different parts of the business that they run, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Just saying. I think it'll be fun. And, you get to network with a bunch of people. I enjoy that part of it. We're not actually going there as Contractors Corner or Road Warrior entrepreneurs. In fact, we're not even allowed to mention Contractors Corner while we're there. Let's just be real about it. Like, we can't hand out business cards or anything. Yeah, it's like a thing. And which is cool with us. We're just there as subscribers.
Their phone number on it. It doesn't have their phone number on it, Charlie. I thought it would.
Well, good job, Jeff.
Yeah, I was trying to do a thing. I'm not as good at this as Charlie is.
Someday.
But yeah, it's the Success in Trucking Engagement site. And they do this every year. So if now's not the time for you, if you're not serious about making any type of change, then, again, limited seating. I mean, you have to register. There's a dinner. There's meet and greets. You get to meet all the people that really make things happen over at ES Success in Trucking.
Right.
Ask your questions. I could tell you this, I think, without running afoul of them, because they really are they're a company that, unless you know who they are, you don't know who they are. They're really selective about who they do business with at all.
Right.
But their system, I'm just going to warn you ahead of time, requires a lot of trust. So an event like this, you can get to know these people, learn about their philosophy, because they have a definite mission statement, Charlie.
Exactly.
They are on a mission to help people that want to help themselves do better. But I'll just leave it at that. How's that? There's trust that it's a true partnership. It's not like your contract at your mega carrier where, here's your truck, here's your keys, bye.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, anyhow, I thought it'd be cool to talk a little bit about that stuff. And what are you guys doing? Are you guys thinking about this stuff? Seriously, I know some of you are. We've had quite a few people exit our little sphere over here. And some of them have made just what seems like rash decisions. Others of them have really put some thought into it and run numbers and just, had discussion with multiple people and said, hey, man, I think I'm just going to back out for now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. They came in, they learned something. It's not failure. I don't want to use that. I don't even want to implicate that, because they're learning something from us. That, the ones that are failure are the ones that have done nothing to try and learn, or, they just came in and said, the hell with it, I'm going to go lease a truck. Have no idea what I'm doing. Not going to ask any questions. Just going to do it and bang my head against the wall and then blame everybody but myself when nothing goes right because I've done no research.
Right.
That to me is failure. I'm sorry, but that is failure, and you set yourself up for it. Those of you guys that have been out there and you're trying and you're trying different things and you're talking, what about this? What about that? Man, power to you. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
One of the things I'm going to bring up that's going to offend about half the people probably that not necessarily our core audience, you guys here, but So we noticed something about a year ago, because as you know, on our private Facebook group, right, that's only for Swift guys, where we talk Swift bit inside stuff that we can't talk about outside there. We get a list every month of people that have left their contracts.
Right.
And what we noticed is that almost all of those guys, not everyone, but I would say a good 90% of them,
Yep.
we've never seen them ask a single question on that group.
No
Not a single
engagement
question.
whatsoever.
Nothing. So you got to wonder, could
hi.
You guys that are in that group and active, you might have been able to help them. Charlie and I might have been able to help them. We don't know what their real issues were because they never asked a question, not a single one. And as we transition at Contractors Corner to more of a coaching, consulting, however you want to put it. I know that those buzz titles rub people wrong, but let's be real. We're here to help you guys, but we can only help you if you actually ask us a question. Engagement, we're truckers too. We get it. I tell people in some of my other groups that I'm involved in, look, I work with truckers and we just are not, we are not the most warm and fuzzy people on the planet. Okay.
What? I'm warm. I'm fuzzy. Want to cuddle? What?
Okay, good, buddy. Oh, there's a term from the past.
Oh, you better stop it. You might offend some people just with that alone.
So yeah.
You know what, Chris? He says, still trying to grasp the basics, obviously, after my huge Oregon mistake. I don't think that was a huge mistake.
No,
you still could have been profitable. And you learned something valuable.
I bet you do that math next time, though, to figure out if it's worthwhile. And I bet, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, Charlie, because one of the things I told him was, even for a load like that, that's, the 1,800 mile load.
Right.
I'll ask the planners, is that all you got? Because that Oregon. I mean, it's a good load. Right. I get it. But Oregon is going to take 29 cents a mile away from me.
Right.
Can I maybe T-call it in West Valley? Can I maybe do this? Can I maybe do that? I start talking to him, man.
Right. Look at Sean. I don't think I've ever asked a question. Maybe I need to. Man, I love Sean because Sean's always asking questions. Sean gets in
Sean tells on himself.
He does. By the way, Sean, in case you haven't listened, I think that you are just about 80 or 90% of our episodes so far. We have mentioned you one way or another. I'm just going to throw it out there.
We always say that we're not going to make fun of. We usually put it. Sometimes it's we're going to not make fun of Sean today.
Right. I'll say, dude, don't mention Sean's name. That's not nice. We love you, man. See, look, Matt needs cuddles. Look, I'm just saying. If you want to feel safe in a man's arms. That went a weird place. Never mind. Chris Hamilton said, I was afraid I was going to drive you guys crazy with all those questions. Nope. No. Yeah. Because you know what? Sometimes you guys come up with questions that we've never even thought of.
Then we got to go do some work.
Right. And then we start, it engages us. It gets our gears going, it fires up our juices and go, that's pretty cool, actually. The fact that we've never thought about it. They say there's no original thought. I think that there is. At least, I don't know. It's original to me. I dig it. Whatever. Jeff has a look.
TK, he's been hearing more about DOD loads. So TK,
that would be cool.
Those loads pay through the freaking nose. I'm just going to say that.
Yep.
But you have to be able to qualify for a secret security clearance. And we could talk about that just a little bit because Charlie and I were talking about that.
Right.
With the last 12 months or so and business being so bad. How's your credit score, guys? Because some of these things, like getting a DOD tag.
Yeah, depending on the clearance.
They're gonna check your credit, medical stuff. That's another high paying one. They're gonna check your credit. Any of that high value stuff. Carriers that do that stuff, they want to make sure that you're not gonna like I don't know,
Sell their stuff.
sell their stuff. I mean, let's be real. So that's a factor. And it's interesting because Tony brought that up to us that we should actually do a show just on how credit scores can affect your business, whether you borrow money or not.
Right.
Because that's a thing. In our outside insurance, the not for Swift stuff, credit score is being taken into account for that. So if you're 300, you're not going to get as good of a rate as a guy with 800.
Right.
And you know how insurance works, though, Charlie. You might end up with that slightly higher rate, and then you do a couple of years, no incidents, and your rate starts going down.
Right.
But you got that starting point, man. Sometimes
It's
credit score
considered risk.
is in there, and y'all can call BS on it all you want. I used to do the same thing. I always pay my insurance, and I've never had an accident. Why is my credit score even a factor?
Right.
There's this thing called actuarial tables. And if you're into numbers way beyond what Charlie and I are,
Right.
you start getting into statistics, and they have data going all the way back to when insurance first became a thing for the auto industry and the trucking industry. And they have all these factors that, oh, look, this cohort has more accidents than that cohort.
Right.
Now it's not a you individual thing. It's you're in this group because you have that thing. Good credit score, bad credit score, this many tickets, that many tickets. I mean, you're a guy or you're not. All of that is they have statistics on all of that. And that's just the way it is.
Right. Sorry, I'm texting someone. I'll be right back. I apologize.
Okay.
Whatever. It's just a live show, bro. What's your problem?
Trucker Tim. So the only loads to military bases I've ever seen at Swift were furniture loads for the Air Force, because the Air Force buys a lot of furniture for some reason. But the loads we're talking about are like secure loads that need teams, things like that. I don't know if Swift has any of those contracts. I know we were running the AFES account there for a while out of California. Took a couple of those. But the really high-paying ones, I can tell you one carrier for sure, because it comes up time and time again in my conversations with people that do DoD loads, and that's Panther. They pay an extra like 40 cents a mile for DoD loads, plus a bonus, here you go, for doing a DoD load. Kind of like Swift does with their hazmat.
Hey, Jeff. So Chris is asking, what other states do you think he should avoid?
New England is not in my atlas anymore. I ripped it out. That's not true, by the way. I wish that I could. New England, going up there. I used to like going up to like Maine, Charlie, because it's nice up there. But that was when there was actual like loads coming out.
Right.
And over the last couple of years, man, remember last year they were dead-heading people from Bangor, Maine,
right,
all the way to Columbus, Ohio, to get them in a lane where they could get freight.
Right. See, I went back, God, way back. I used to have a sweet triangle that I ran. I would run Portland to New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with, going to the food bank out there, which is odd to me, but whatever, usually canned salmon or something like that, or tissue paper into northern New York, or even up into Connecticut, New Hampshire, stuff like that. And then I would get a load of Powerade bottles. And I think it was in Connecticut or New Hampshire. I can't remember which one. I think it was Connecticut. I would get that load, and that went all the way down to Henderson, Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then from there, I'd either get something at the yard going up to Portland, or I'd grab tires out of Reno and run up to Portland. And it was awesome. And it was great. But then that all just went away, and it just got garbage, man. And the cool thing about those Powerade bottles was it was a completely wide open window.
Mm.
And so and it was when I was mentoring. So if we were teaming, we could hard run it. If we were not, we could still run it, and we could take all week to get there. They didn't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was awesome because as soon as you got there, they unloaded you. You know, depending on what the line was, you were in line, so they unload you, and then you off to your next one. It was sweet, man. I dug it.
Are
But
you ready?
nowadays, you
Are
know,
you ready for my unpopular opinion on this one? You know which one I'm pulling up.
do it.
Can we agree that drivers, company, and owner ops are underpaid regardless of carrier? I'm going to say no.
I don't
Absolutely
think
not. Absolutely not. Now, you can make the argument on the company side because you're an employee that maybe you want a little more money. That's up to you. But we're business owners, man. We're business owners. Take ownership. You want to make more money? Go get yourself a contract on your own.
right.
Negotiate that contract for, I don't know, hauling for the U.S. Navy between San Diego and Virginia. You go do that, and you'll make about $5 an hour net. I happen to know that contract exists. We're business owners, man, and you're not going to get me to play that we're underpaid thing because I made the choice as a business owner to hitch my wagon to a mega carrier because I've got relationships there.
Right. I mean, look,
Um,
there's arguments to be made, and you can justify the argument. There are better contracts to find. You may do a lot more work to make that higher rate. Maybe you stumble into something lucky, and you know what? You double your rate, and you have to work. Power to you, man. There's guys
Mhm.
out there doing that all the time. You
Yeah.
know, uh, the industry's paying what the industry's paying. I mean, think of it this way: uh, when and if rates go up, everything goes up, right?
Mhm.
And the price of everything's going up already without even adding the trucking side of it in there. Um, I don't know, man. Yeah, again, it's not going to be a popular stance that Jeff and I take here usually, and that's fine. It's just that we're looking at from a purely business standpoint, as a business whole versus one guy's standing, right? When we're having discussion like this, we try to look at it as a whole.
Yep.
I don't care what my carrier's making. As long as I'm happy with the rate I'm being paid, I'm good with that. I don't want to know what they're getting paid. Don't care. I know
Yeah.
there's times that they're losing money for me pulling their freight. I
Yep.
absolutely know this for a fact. I've seen it, and that there's that other argument out there. Oh, Swift is holding freight for company drivers and keeping them busy. Jeff and I had a discussion about this the other day. And again, not going to be popular, but if they're pulling some garbage freight that they're barely making 85 cents a mile on, right? Because they just booked it so they had freight to move people with, right? And they're able to move, 10, 20, 100 company guys on that freight, and they get all the company guys out of that zone, but they don't put it on any contractors. Can you blame them?
No.
I
It's
mean,
just business, man.
our lowest rate is what, $1.15 a mile, plus
Mhm.
fuel surcharge. They're losing their tail to put it on a contractor truck. Why not put it on a company truck with less overhead and less expense? I mean, I know, man. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. We get that. Figure out ways to make your situation better, right? We hear that argument all the time. Well, if guys would quit pulling cheap freight, the industry would get better. Well, guess what? As long as people are figuring out how to run a more efficient business, and their overhead is less than the other guy, that guy with the lower overhead is probably going to be able to underbid that other person. That's capitalism.
Mhm.
That's the marketplace.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and we see it all the time on the Facebooks. These cheap rates. And I'll ask people, well, what's cheap? And right now it seems like the number under $2 a mile comes in an awful lot.
Right.
And I will ask them, well, what's your cost per mile if you have to make $2 a mile to even break even, as you say? and they could never answer that question. You got to know what your what your expenses are. You know, when you get out there and you start playing the big game and running out there on your own authority and stuff, if you don't know what your cost of operation is per mile, how do you even know what cheap freight is? You don't.
Right. So at our lowest rate on our contract this week, right, I'm getting paid $1.60 a mile.
Mhm.
That's our mileage rate and our fuel surcharge for the week. And when I tell people that, they lose their freaking mind. How do you even survive? I not only surviving, but I profit at that number.
Yeah.
I
Well, you know, we
I
don't
put
we
money in my
don't
pocket.
we don't have things like auto liability insurance, cargo insurance. All that stuff is paid for by the carrier.
Right.
You know, our expenses are lower than what they would be if we were out on our own. That's probably the biggest advantage to leasing to a carrier over getting your own numbers.
Right.
You know, right now, I see Landstar came up earlier, and you know me and Landstar.
Right.
I was talking to some people the other day, and you know, Landstar guys are getting like 98 cents, $1 a mile right now. So that also brings up all you guys want the load board at Swift to be percentage. You want to run
Right.
for 98 cents a mile?
Nope.
It's a different conversation when you start looking at that. So, you know, as you're looking at what your opportunities are, look at the economy, what the market is doing. Right now is probably not the best time to
Right.
leave your mega carrier if you're leased to a mega carrier, because you've got some known factors there. You know what you're getting paid, even you know, on a mileage contract. You know what you're being paid. There's no question there. You know what your overhead is every week. There's no question there. Now,
There's
when
quite a
things
few people that have
turn
come to the mega carriers just because of the market being what it is.
right, and you know, you guys all know that we are leased to Swift, but you know, when we say mega carriers plural, you know, we're talking about Swift, we're talking about Panther, we're talking about JB Hunt. You know, people go to those carriers during times like this because the overhead out there with your own numbers is just insane. You know, I was just having a discussion about insurance with some guys in another group, and the company Progressive Insurance keeps coming up over and over again. I guess they raised their rates by a full third this year, just because.
Right. Hey,
You know,
Travis.
that's a big hit to your bottom line.
Yeah. So Travis said, I hear you guys. I just think the drivers generate more revenue and give far more than what we receive. 30,000 foot view here. And look, we get that, man. But I think that a lot of people fail to look at what the carriers are providing, right?
Mhm.
And what these brokers are providing. Look, that's a touchy subject already. Everybody hates the brokers. Everybody hates the brokers. They're the ones feeding you loads because why? Because you don't have direct customers. Why don't you have direct customers? That's you. That's on you.
Yeah.
It's either you're not pursuing that, you're not out negotiating that, or you haven't been in the business long enough to be able to do that yet. Maybe you don't have the right equipment to do that yet. You know, you don't have the trailer pool that maybe some of these customers need. There's all these things, right? Go out and negotiate what you think you're worth, and there's a good chance you can find it. I mean, I've seen customers out there all the time that actually pay a ridiculous premium, right, for an absolute on-time service without any freight claims.
Or a trailer pool.
Right. The trailer pool is big in a lot of these contracts, you know, they may require you to have 100, 200, 300 trailers, and you may lock in $6 a mile out of that customer, but it's because of that massive trailer pool that you have to have. You know, what is that going to cost you? What's that overhead? You know,
Right.
all these things come into play here, and a lot of people just don't ever think about it. It's just they're always out to make a profit. Well, yes, they are a business as well, and that's their job to make a profit. You know, our job is to figure out how to make enough profit for us within those systems, or find a different system to work within, or start your own system.
Right. I mean, I just watched a lecture from a guy that comes from a different philosophical point of view than me. His lecture was based on convincing his students that they were getting screwed and things, revolution type stuff, right? But he was absolutely 100% right about a capitalist system.
Right.
You have to produce more than you cost in order for a business to pay you.
Right. Otherwise, it's called charity.
Right.
Or a hobby.
And
I've got several hobbies.
Obviously, I disagreed with his conclusion. And, Charley, a lot of people don't know this about us, but we actually watch people that we disagree with on purpose.
Right.
Because it makes you think.
Exactly.
A lot of times when I listen to some of these people from a totally different philosophical point of view than my own, I do kind of walk away going, "Oh, that idiot."
Right.
But then I'm like, wait a minute, that one thing he said though, that's something to think about. If I give more value to a customer, to an employer, whatever the case may be, than I cost, then my job that I do for them is pretty secure.
Right.
So you got to figure out the other thing that Charley and I have been talking about, and I've been talking about on the Facebooks a lot lately, is thinking about when is enough enough? Are you really just trying to make as much money as you can? What are you going to do with it? At a certain point, when is enough enough? And you really should think about that. It kind of came up in one of my groups that the Tony Robbins group that I belong to, where they're trying to sell stuff so that you can sell stuff, and it's a weird thing. Anyway, this one lady on there was kind of, you could tell she was kind of getting down on herself a little bit, because how do you become a millionaire? I'm a mom with 3 kids, this, that, and the other thing. And there were all of these comments in there about, yeah, you really do have to decide if that's important to you, and you do have to make that choice.
Right.
You know what nobody but me said, and I'm pretty proud of myself for this, Charley. I asked her, why do you need to be a millionaire?
Right.
Why? Why is that where your mind is? Would it be nice to be a millionaire? Oh, yeah. I mean, there is that concept of, if a problem comes up and you have money, you no longer have that problem. That is a thing. Let's be real.
Right.
There is economic reality of the society that we live in. Absolutely. But you don't have to be a millionaire to be happy.
Right.
It's just, anyway, soapbox. Yeah, that's my thing, I guess.
Hey, Travis, I want to thank you for your statement. Seriously, man. We're not combative. I hope you don't take it that way. And I think I don't think you do. But I dig conversation like that. I mean, it helps us to open up our minds and maybe look at things from a different point of view. I mean, look, I went through this thing years ago. I was on a Swift video with Kevin Quast and Betsy Parrish years ago. Okay. And it kind of put my face on the radar for all the wrong reasons at the time. Right. I agreed with a lot of Swift's business decision policies. And you guys just wouldn't. Some of these people that are here were probably there and just
Mr. Swift.
Yeah, flaming on me, man. Like it got to the point where I had people threatening to do me physical harm, damage my truck. I mean, light my truck on fire, cut brake lines. I mean, the whole thing. It got to the point I started telling people, look, I will be at the Lancaster TA at this time. Feel free to show up. Show me what you're showing everybody right now on the interwebs. And I mean, I got fired up, man. And it tightened me up a little bit too. But it was funny because one of the things I said, well, if you're mad because Swift doesn't pay you their discount on fuel, then go get your own fuel card. That was years ago, long before I ever got my own fuel card. Go get your own fuel card. There's nothing that says you can't. Go out and negotiate for yourself. You don't like sitting around? Fine. Go do a trip lease. Didn't know it as trip lease then, but the contract said that we could pull freight for other people. Do the research, figure out how to do that, and go do that.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the flaming that I got, Mr. Swift. People didn't even believe that I drive a truck. I've never driven a truck. Uh, I this was before AI even was a thing, was a huge thing, right? People are like, oh, he's a robot. He's not even really there. I'm like, Jesus, what the heck is going on, man? I'm like, hello, pinch me, I'm here, whatever. But that's fine. I don't know, man. It was crazy. It'd be easier to fake me now with AI. I'm just saying.
So I'm going to point something out, Charlie, that I don't think I brought up to you.
Oh,
Remember when I used to hate you?
yep, he did.
Yeah, one of the things that changed my mind was I saw you on that Swift thing,
Right.
and I said, "How does he get in that room and I don't?" And I asked you, and you're like, "Dude, I just call him." I'm like, "What do you mean you just call him?" And
Right.
Charlie taught me, "Well, here's the number, call him." And
Right.
that's when I started doing some stuff similar to you, was because of that video. So there's the people that you look at, the people that lambasted you that are probably went out of business years ago, versus people like me that, why does he get that and I don't? And I asked you.
Right.
And now I can call Brett Stewart because I have his
Right.
phone number.
Look, Kevin Quast, rest in peace, Kevin. Love that. God, I still can't believe it. Anyhow, that guy was genuine. He was absolutely interested and couldn't understand why people didn't call and talk to him about these problems.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, legitimately, it hurt his heart that people felt like they couldn't call and ask questions. Why don't we get why aren't you passing on that discount? He told you it's part of our numbers, man. You are absolutely free. Go get your own fuel card. We're not stopping you. We encourage you. Please do that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's just part of our system, and that's what you agreed to do. And you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but we're carrying that note for you. You don't have to come out of your pocket to cover it.
Right.
So there you go. I mean, it's things like that. And Travis said, I hear you guys. I appreciate the different perspectives. Good conversation. That's what the channel is about. That's what we hope you guys come here for. Sometimes, goofy old Charlie just does something that people can't help but watch because I'm like a monkey in a cage sometimes. I haven't thrown poop at anybody yet, so I'm just saying I'm doing pretty good.
I just call you on the phone to stay awake sometimes. So I don't even say anything and
Right?
just let him rant.
I'm good. There are other times he calls and I can tell that's what he's after, and I am just quiet, and you're like, oh man, I'm sorry, bro. I got nothing. Yesterday was one of my quiet days, actually. It was driving Rosie nuts. And then we started our karaoke Friday, and then I got some energy. Music pepped me up. And then I was just rambling and singing inappropriately.
Oh, is Rosie doing better, by the way? Rosie got sick this week out on the road, and there's nothing worse than that.
I was not going to bring it up, but it's so funny. I made her tell that story last night when we got home to my brothers. It was funny. They're like, never heard a puking story from Rosie before. Just going to leave it there.
Brett,
You guys
doing better now?
Yes, she is much better today. She's worn out, tired.
Okay.
You all have come across maybe a bad burrito from Burger King in the morning and then had to run a full shift and then had to visit every rest area along your entire shift and whatever. Rosie has an intimate understanding of exactly where every rest area is between Lake City and the Loves at exit 26 in Florida. So from exit 303 to exit 26, she could tell you exactly what each restroom is all about.
Yep.
Rest area. She knows it well. Just saying. Woo! That woman was on fire.
Yeah, there's
more ways than one.
There is nothing worse than getting sick on the road, though, man.
Right. Oh God. And that kind of sickness is the worst.
Yep.
It's one thing to feel like flu, you cough and sneeze and cough, whatever, right? It's another thing when your body's purging everything any way that it can. And we'll leave it at that because I will probably already get cut for this. Anyhow,
glad I could help, Charlie.
I appreciate that, Jeff. That's good to looking out, brother. But yeah, Travis, thanks, man. And seriously, dude, I hope nobody is ever intimidated to ask a question in here, look, you could ask a question that might make us giggle and roll our eyes for a moment, but I can promise you, we will answer the question. We will absolutely answer the question that's pertinent to what it is that we're discussing.
Yep.
I feel like I should qualify that. I had to qualify that. Is that, yeah. Don't ask me about my shoe size. It's a 12 to 13, depending on the shoe. Just saying. But I think you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a weird deal.
Chris Hamlin says every day is a school day.
Right?
Absolutely.
I hope so for all of us. I think it's an important thing, and I think that you should always be trying to learn.
I mean, I do spend a lot of time on Facebook, maybe more than I should. But I can tell you what I'm looking for. And my news feed now, Charlie, is almost exclusively good stuff at this point.
Nice.
I'm looking for people asking questions. I'm looking for people
Right.
giving advice. I'm looking for and
Right.
here's the thing. You get those things from friends of yours that you're like, dude, I thought you were smart. All these tricks to clean up your news feed. Let me tell you, the algorithm works a certain way, and none of those things work. I can tell you what does
Right.
work though. You see something you like, hit the like button on that. Write a comment and say, hey, yeah, I never thought about that before. Here's what I'm going through. And like magic, you start seeing more of those posts. I have a core of friends that go all the way back to high school, some of them. And every once in a while, I'm like, hey, I haven't heard from Anthony in a while. So I'll go pull up his profile. I just go and like a bunch of his stuff just randomly.
Right.
And for the next couple of weeks, he shows up on my newsfeed again.
It's a trip.
That's the one thing that actually works.
Good conversation, guys. I appreciate this so far. That made this first hour just scream by. Bling bling. Just getting notifications. That's awesome. I know there was something we missed. Somebody asked about the Hot Shot product. There's an everyday product, I think is the one that most people are using. I don't use it myself. Maybe Craig or some of those guys that are using it could chime in on that. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Chris. Chris said, you two are great professors. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Chris he's another freaking unicorn, man. That guy did all kinds of research before all this. Had a lot of conversations with a ton of people, and it was great. Michael Fowler said he uses, I'm assuming that's the Hot Shot everyday stuff. EDT, everyday treatment, I think is what it is.
Right. There's two, and I've been bad, Charlie. Since I got this truck, I haven't spent the money on any of the stuff that we say people should do. So go ahead and slap me. Yes, you should use it. But there's two. There's the everyday, and then there's and Craig will be able to answer this question because Craig is a Hot Shot secret super fan. There's the one that you put in every, what is it? 8,000 miles or something like that. That's the actual injector cleaner. And it costs money, but I told you my experience with the 2016, right, Charlie? That
yep.
I put the injector cleaner in and the first round of the everyday treatment, right?
Right.
And the truck quieted down and wasn't running rough anymore. Just from one treatment. Maybe 2 hours of idle running it through. And it quieted right down.
Nice.
So
Michael said, Craig, correct. You said it's every 6,000 miles. And Michael Fowler said a gallon jug on Amazon is only $75. So there you go. I forgot to tell you, Jeff, yesterday, because I didn't talk to you after I was almost to the DC and then I got home. I shut my truck down. I was getting reefer fuel at the Loves, exit 262 in Florida on I-10. And we shut the truck off, got my reefer fuel, went to go get back in the truck and start it, turned the key, completely nothing happened. The dash lit up like it normally does, reset, went through its things, no warnings, none of that. Tried to start it, nothing happened. Not a click, not a chugga, nothing. I thought immediately, oh, it must be that right stock error switch, whatever thing again, right? But I never got the message. I got no error codes from this one. And so I turned the switch off to the batteries for like a minute and then tried again. Same problem. I'm like, oh crap. Turned it off, went 10 minutes, turned it back on, truck started up like nothing was ever wrong. But the odd thing to me was I didn't get a check engine light, no error codes, nothing at all. So I've never seen this, whatever this was, I've never seen this before. It was like the ignition was completely dead. So if any of you guys have run into that, maybe you found out what it was. If you did, let me know. If you're watching this on the replay, go down there and put it in the comments what you found out it was. But I got no error codes for anything at all. Just a completely dead ignition, man. Other than, I mean, it would turn like all the lights and everything on. But when you turned it that last starter position, absolutely nothing would happen.
So what I was looking at off screen was I got a notification. So Anthony McGuire says he can't comment on YouTube, but he was curious. He was told that the site conference was for people who want to buy a truck or start a fleet. That is true. That is its intention. So again, guys, go check it out. We'll put it up on the website. Man, time to do that. If you want to go, sign up, but please, if you're not intending to
go in
change your business, don't go. We actually, I'll just put it out there, we weren't going to go because we recognize what it is. It's a recruiting event.
Right.
And then Jeff Reese gave us a call the other day and says, hey, are you guys going to this thing? I think it would be beneficial for you. And we're like, well, how? And we talked about it.
Right.
And, it's information that we can give to you guys on a different approach to your business.
Right.
And if they're willing to invite us, we will take that opportunity and learn about that. And we'll put the information out.
But we are not there as Contractors Corner. We are there as Jeff and Charlie and Rosie.
Yep.
Just saying.
So we're going to learn as much as we can from these folks, just like we did at their expo. We came back with all the information that we learned about, the expedited freight market a few months back. And we'll do the same thing with this. And,
excuse me.
Seriously, guys, if you want to grow your fleet, if you want to change your business, take these opportunities to learn about other carriers. I don't care where you're at, I have to be careful here, Charlie, because we're trying to distance ourselves from being the Swift guys.
Right.
Without not being Swift guy, not being Swift guys. Because we like the carrier. We've been happy with our relationship with them. But,
not without their issues. We're not saying that.
But there's such a big world out there. And if you guys want to go for the brass ring, we will absolutely get the information to you and help you do that.
Right.
A lot of these mega carriers like Swift, let's be real. They're a great place to get a truck. What we learned is that Swift trucks, if through IEL, are at a pretty dang good price right now compared to going out and trying to buy a brand new truck. Now, if you want to get a good solid used truck, toot toot, we do have those available through our website through our people. They're not our trucks. We're not selling them, but we know a guy. Okay, guys. And you can get one of their trucks if you have the credit score. Now on approved credit, of course, unless you're dropping cash.
Right.
For in many cases, not all, because different carriers have different buyout programs for their lease trucks. At or below what you're going to pay for the buyout on your lease truck. It's worth taking a look at.
You can go to contractorscorner.cc and there's a couple trucks there that we are advertising for some folks, and there you go, check it out.
Right. And the thing about those trucks, Charlie, is that they were specifically picked out for our people.
Right.
So the people that are actually selling them, not all of their trucks would suit our members' needs.
Right.
The ones that we're putting up do. They're spec'd right. They're I mean, one of them's Peterbilt, which I've got a thing with Peterbilt.
Right.
They're nice trucks, but man, they're expensive to
579.
maintain.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a nice truck. It's up there. Just if you got the credit for it, we still believe that buying a quality used truck on the outside of your carrier is the best way to get a truck.
Right.
But as we mentioned, over the last year, a lot of us, maybe we missed a payment or two on something, and our credit score is no longer 625.
Right. It's a thing. Let's be real. Hey, real quick before I forget, because I didn't do this earlier, for you Swift guys, your fuel surcharge this week from 3.7 to 3.13 is 0.453, and the West Coast fuel surcharge is 10 cents. Just want to make sure I got that out there for you Swift guys. That's what it is. They've actually already hit the settlements. If you look, just saying, if you haven't, it's there.
I have not.
I looked earlier. They are on the settlement already.
And yes, TK, we know you love your Peterbilt. My question still remains: do you love the maintenance cost?
Right.
Just saying.
Turkey Dan was talking about stuff from January 2nd, 24 to about 3 weeks ago. He was in a negative on his settlement, and last 3 weeks he's gotten a settlement in the positive. So I mean, sometimes it sucks. You just got to keep plugging away at it, and it's hard. It is hard. It is absolutely hard sometimes. Rosie,
we had
stellar.
We had one of our members of the private group turn in his truck last week, so he's making the transition back to being an employee, a company driver. And I mean, you hear the guy's story, and you're like, yeah, I mean,
makes sense.
Makes sense. He's at this point he's lost everything that isn't inside the truck,
and that sucks.
And unfortunately, that's a reality of being in business for yourself. There is a big upside to it, but there's also a downside. And you got to think about
it can go drastic. Let's be real.
Well, this is going to be a whole podcast, I think, Charlie, at some point.
Right.
Is when is it time to take that step back?
Yeah.
We really harp on the your big purpose, getting to your why, and dang it, death before company, all that stuff. But then the economic realities hit where you're about ready to lose everything.
Right.
Maybe it's time to take that step back. Maybe you go get a job, sit down with yourself. You threw a comment on there. No, I'm
sorry. Maybe get a job here. Watch, pal.
Maybe go get a job for a while. But here's what you do that most people don't do. Here's my sage advice for this one. Get your journal out. I'm big on journaling, Charlie.
Right.
And start writing down. These are the things that went wrong for me. And sit on it for a while and go back to it and say, okay, I still believe that entrepreneurship is the best path to prosperity. So with this list of things that went wrong, what can I do next time?
Right.
So those things do not happen. I was just talking to CFO the other day about, in my business, we on our sleeves you guys will always know when we make a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what my mistake was, Charlie, was I got comfortable with not having a truck payment. I went out and started living large, and I did not save enough money to maintain that truck. So when the time came, and almost 1 million miles is when it comes, you start having little things break.
Right.
And it starts nickel and diming you, and all of a sudden the $200 turns into $15,000.
And just to be clear here, it's not just the money spent, but the money not generated through revenue because now you're down.
Right. So for a while there, I was able to just cash flow it, but it was the downtime.
Right.
A couple of days here, a week there. Some of the stuff I was doing myself, but YouTube University, how do I change that water pump?
Right.
And yes, I've got the tools, but okay, what did that video say again? Okay, I got to do this next.
Right.
Versus paying a mechanic, but that could take a week.
Right.
All these decisions you make. Donna and I talk about this a lot with our children. Okay. I am a truck driver today because of decisions that I made 25 years ago.
Right.
All of my decisions, I'm 51 years old now. So you guys that are still younger, pay attention, you young guys.
He's only 51.
I'm old and out of touch, so bear with me a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, when I look back, I'm like, so I did this thing, and that put me here, which put me there, and now I'm an owner operator at Swift.
Right.
But here's the thing: is for a long time, Charlie, I would get depressed about that.
Right.
Like, gosh, I could have been teaching at a university by now. This, that, the other thing. I mean, I was kind of on this golden path there for a while. And then I had a life event that a lot of people know about. I'm not going to go into right now, that threw all of that out of whack, dropped out of college and went and got a job instead of following that path. And for the longest time, I'm like, man, where would I be now if I hadn't made that decision? But you know what? Sitting down with myself over time and saying, no, I made that decision, which put me here. There's freedom there. Because if those decisions put me here, my decision today could put me somewhere else tomorrow.
Right.
That's the thing. There's freedom there.
Exactly. It's that freedom most of us are chasing, but don't understand that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Jeff, every day you and I run into folks that are like, oh, I just want my freedom. And I'm not free as a contractor, because they don't understand what that freedom means. Sometimes a lot of work comes with freedom.
Yep.
We could make this any number of topics. I could think of one right off the top of my head that pisses everybody off every time you bring it up. Allowing someone to burn your flag. Standing by and seeing someone burn my flag bothers me to no end. But you know what? I've fought for their right, as has Jeff and many others out there. We promise to defend that Constitution, and part of that is that freedom of speech and their right to do stupid things like burn my flag. Just saying, you get into business, there is a lot to it, and a lot of people don't realize how much there is to that, running that business. They just think, I'm going to be a business guy. Cool, let's do it. Man, how great is it that we're in a place where you can, number one, do that without any sort of real thought. It's tragic for many, and for a few that jump in face first like that, it's all rainbows and unicorns, and it works. They get lucky. Or they get into it with no knowledge and go, oh crap, I better do some learning real quick. And they school of hard knocks to figure it out. Great. You got to understand there's a lot of work involved with it. And, sometimes there's some hard decisions, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Learn from what's not working and find ways and find people that are going to help you sort out things to a more positive outcome for you. Jeff touched on earlier, how much is enough to make you happy? We've all got magic numbers in our head. I'm sure we could all spout, oh yeah, $100 million, I'll be fine. More money, more problems.
More responsibility, that's for sure.
There's so many different ways to look at it. For me, it's funny. And I've got a pretty good idea of Jeff's, because we just did a podcast about it, about balancing your home work life. It's home work life balance. That'll be the next episode. We just had one drop today, which is with Brian Jess, one of our dudes. But next week's will be a discussion on the home work balance. And, I want enough for me is that I can spend time with my grandchildren, because I lost a lot of time with my own kids, being deployed in the military and trucking and everything else. I was gone for a huge part of my kids growing up, and I'm a little bummed by that. Boo-hoo me, whatever. But you know what? I was providing for my family and doing what I thought I needed to do. So that's what I've been doing. I'm to a point now where I'd like to be able to step back a little bit, maybe do a little more work from home. That's what this Contractors Corner and the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs is all about. If we can start helping people make better choices through discussions and real conversations, and save some people from some of the pitfalls that we all have run into in the past. Maybe we can save some of you guys from falling into those pits in the future, and find some new pits, right? That we can all learn from and avoid those. And eventually, I mean, it's all out there. It's just a matter of being able to follow what's being presented, and hopefully we're a part of that journey for you guys, because that's what we're here for. And we hope you guys are here for us in that as well, because it's not just Jeff and I, it's not just whatever, it's the community. And we harp on the community thing. We truly believe in the fact that with the community doing better, we all do better, because the entire community do better. Sometimes one or two people will have problems and they get squished. It's unfortunate, but don't let their being squished be in vain, right? Let's all learn something from it, and that's why we try to share, the ups and the downs, right? We share the downs way more than the ups, to be honest. And if you guys aren't catching that or sharing that, then I feel like it's a missed opportunity for everybody involved. I don't know. But yeah, so a little plug. Check out the latest episode of Road Warrior Entrepreneurs podcast. You can find it on podwheels.com, podwheels.com, or wherever you're listening to your podcast. Say Spotify, Amazon, Apple, just saying, kind of a thing. It's cool. We've got 4 episodes out now. Our last one was pretty good. We were talking with Brian just about planning for the end of lease and what kind of decisions he's making between now and then. He's like 18 at the time we recorded. It was like 18 months out. It was kind of a cool conversation. The next one, like I said, is about our home life work balance. Home work balance. Yeah, something like that. You'll see it. Anyhow, you can go there. It'll be up probably next Tuesday. They seem to be releasing every Tuesday as well, around midnight, Monday night, Tuesday morning. And hey, check it out. Let us know what you think. If there's some topics you'd like us to get into on the podcast, please let us know. Like, that would be awesome. We've got a list that we're trying to build, and we're trying to produce some of these ahead of time, so we're not jumping out of our butts out of the last minute, because that's no fun. And yeah. We got one coming up with Tony Dennis. It's going to be
maybe 2, maybe 3.
Right. It'll probably be 2. I don't think it'll be 3. I think it may turn into 2 from what I've seen so far, or listened to so far. It's a lot of information, but it's really kind of doing a deep dive into why we have insurance, what kinds of insurance we're needing, and things like that. And not just for the Swift guys, but for everyone out there in the trucking industry. I think that giving those guys a call over at Seabright may actually help you save a couple bucks. We know for a fact that they can save a large number of people a lot of money over what they're currently paying. Most places seem to have gone up this year on their insurance premiums, and our guys stayed flat. Just saying. Yep. Those who are doing this type of shopping or looking around tend to be more cautious drivers. More business-oriented people tend to be better risks in the insurance game, and therefore, because of your good driving history and whatnot, there's a better rate out there for you that maybe you're not getting if you're leased to a carrier or running your own numbers. I mean, check it out. Give them a call. You can call right there, 800-366-6466. I play that at the beginning of just about every show.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
So we have 2 different insurance programs. One's for the Swift guys, and you guys are getting a really great rate, by the way.
Yeah.
A little below market, basically. And so you guys were kind of the test to see if this would actually work out, and it did. So now we've got the insurance for everybody else, basically. It's not a Swift contractor.
Right.
And part of that program is that you guys are going to get a safety program curated by us that's independent of your carrier, any of that. So it's going to create a little bit more distance between you and the carrier for AB5 reasons. But you'll have quarterly training courses that you're going to need to go to so that you can keep those rates.
And you'll have the added benefit of the extra videos and things that we're producing over there, different classes and things like that we're working on.
Yeah.
And you're going to benefit from that, and that's all part of that insurance package that these folks at Seabright can put together for you. Because part of that discount that you're going to get on those rates is that you're part of this safety training program that we're developing. And yeah, so check it out. Definitely give those folks over at Seabright a call. Let them know. Make sure you mention Contractors Corner and that you're not a Swift contractor, and they've got you. I think worst case, they're like, no, you're in a better deal where you're at, bro. Go for that. Then go for that. That's absolutely what you should do. We just love the service and that sort of thing that we're getting, and I think it's cool. Oh, and
when you talk to them too, they're good. Just be prepared, because they're going to ask you, hey, what you doing for accounting?
Right.
And I bring that up on purpose, Charlie. Because what we're really doing here, folks, is we're putting together a team of people for you that you can make your team through your activity with us. People that we've vetted that are members of our personal team in our trucking operations, with the fuel card, insurance, and accounting. And they're not linked, but we all support each other. We support each other's businesses. And that's a much better dynamic than the 800-pound gorilla that the only reason the guy on the other end of the phone knows your name is because he's looking at it on the screen.
Right.
What we enjoy is doing business with people that have a little more understanding of our individual businesses. And so we went out and found those people for ourselves, and now they're available to all y'all because we told you about them. So that's where we're at with all of that.
So Trucker Tim, sorry, I was looking at the comments. Trucker Tim says, what sucks is they don't seem to care if you lose your shirt. They get that money, yet you sign a contract with a carrier to drive for them, only fair that they provide what you signed with them for. Tim, I see what you're saying. And while freight is garbage right now, I believe that the majority of people are getting what they signed the contract for. Again, probably not going to be a popular stance here. And I don't apologize.
Let me put it this way, Tim. Read through your contract and you tell me, where in that contract does Swift guarantee you 2,500 miles a week?
Right.
Is that something that they guarantee to you? Is that in the contract? It's not. What is in the contract is that they pay you a lot more than what they pay a company driver. And how you use that gross revenue is up to you. That's where that's where you get a bit of a leg up. And I'll just, another unpopular opinion, Charlie. I don't expect Swift to give a crap about me.
I don't either. They have it many times in my life and my career.
Yeah. Well, individuals at Swift have been very helpful. But Swift as a company, the company's not a person.
Sean, you're next on the mat. It's coming. If I'm being completely honest, Sean said, you guys get a whole different experience with these guys.
Why is that?
So I'm gonna go out on a limb. Sean, I need you to specify. Are you talking about Swift? Are you talking about CFO? Are you talking about Seabright, ES? Be specific for me here, because I think I know what you're saying, but I don't want to assume. So I'm going to come back to that one, and then we can have a discussion about that. Trigger Tim said, I guess when freight sucks at no fault of your own, they could waive lease payments during these unprecedented times. I don't have to worry about it anymore, but plenty do. No, I see what you're saying. But again, I don't expect them to do that. And they have a business to run. They are paying for assets that they need to cover. And we as individual business owners ourselves also stepped up and said, "Hey, we're gonna run a business and we're gonna take these chances on our own." And it's look, man, I feel your pain. I do because I got truck payments too, and I'm running garbage miles right now, and it's not great. Even on my little dedicated deal here, it's not great. Um, Granted, I could do better on a weekly basis, but I do have other things that I'm working on, like the Contractors Corner thing, Road Warrior Entrepreneurs podcast. I mean, all this other side stuff that does require me to put time into it, and Jeff is the same way. Um, but I'm not sure that we'd be doing much better. I think part of what Jeff and I are experiencing is part of it is self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
For something that we're trying to work on, down the road. Um, but again, I, yeah, look, Tim, I'm not pooping on your head, brother. And I get what you're saying. And I do absolutely understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not looking, I don't want them to hold my hand. The more they're involved in my personal business, the more strings that come with that. And I'm
Yep.
trying to cut every string I can. Honest to God, short of getting my own authority. I don't like strings. I don't
Yeah,
like
and
being
this
reliant.
is one of those things we were talking about earlier, is when you have to take a step back like that, use that time. You got a little bit of reprieve right now, and analyze, figure out. I'm gonna just say something here, Charlie, and this will tell people more of who we really are. Maybe next time you go into business, it's not with Swift.
Right.
Maybe you take. I kind of know Tim's situation a little bit. Maybe you take the next 2 years and you build back what you had, and you save some money, and you go buy yourself a $20,000 piece of crap truck, and put it to work. And then a year after that, you're buying a $40,000 truck. You put that one to work, and before you know it, you don't need a carrier at all. That is a possibility in this industry, man. But I think people get mired down in that. Well, they should have done this. I don't expect that from them. If we don't pay for the truck we're in, who's going to pay for it? Swift.
Right.
I mean,
Sean makes a point here. He says, does your home or auto lender stop expecting payments because you lost your job? While they may make a couple of exceptions for you, that's not going to last forever.
right. I mean, I know that there's some programs that most lenders have where they'll take those payments and put them on the end of the loan. I mean,
Right.
Swift did that with the trucks back in 2009. They gave us 5 weeks without payments and tacked them on the end of the lease. But I mean, that was Jerry Moyes' Swift. This is not Jerry
Right.
Moyes' Swift. This is Knight Swift Holdings, much bigger
This is
company.
a corporate board and stockholders and the whole 9 yards. Going back to Sean, I just want to retouch on that. If I'm being completely honest, you guys get a whole different experience with these guys. And when I asked who he's talking about, he said with Seabright and CFO. But I would question and ask you this: why?
Right.
I mean, it's because we have built ridiculous relationships. We spend a tremendous amount of time talking to people. I'm building a great relationship with Sandy over at Seabright right now. Jeff and I are working on building a relationship with Mary at Seabright right now to have a little better flow of information, because it's funny. We talk with Tony and Tony's like, yeah, let's do this thing. And then Mary starts getting calls on the thing we just talked about on the show because Tony said so. And Mary's like, I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try and keep Mary more in the loop so that she knows what to expect on things like this. But it really is. It's time invested on mine and Jeff's part to get to know these people. I mean, we literally interviewed and went out of our way to get to know people. We asked for introductions and things like that. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying. I do. But why are we different?
Well, I'm going to put this out there, Charlie. When I call Seabright, it's different than when Charlie calls Seabright. So it's not us Contractors Corner that gets treated differently. It's Charley that gets treated differently, and I can tell you why. He talks to them a lot more than I do.
I know very much about Sandy and her personal life, and she knows much about mine. And we talk family stuff. It's weird. I know.
And
I'm gonna get her in trouble one day.
and I want to point this out too. So my interaction with Colton's people is probably very similar to yours when I'm talking to like Jessica, my account rep.
Right.
That relationship is different than the relationship I have with Colton, the owner.
Right.
Now, Colton, the owner, and I have kind of become friends. Let's be real. We have some other things in common, not just business. So we become kind of friends. But trying to get a hold of Jessica at CFO is very much like it is for you. I sent her an email, and she usually responds within 24 hours, but sometimes she doesn't, and then I have to send another one. I'm not her only client. I'm not their only client, and I understand that. Now, if it's urgent, I can tell you a little trick with them. If it's urgent, like you really need to talk to her, them, whoever, about a specific issue, put that in your email. I had a question on my profit and loss statement towards the end of the year last year. And that particular question, they actually called me like 20 minutes after I pushed send on the email. That doesn't happen when I'm just saying, hey, could we just kind of go over some things? I don't know. The more what I'm saying is the more specific I am with the people that are in the trenches over there, the more likely I am to get an answer right away from them. And this comes back to the communication. You've got to get to know these people, how they work. And then once you figure that out, you figure out their triggers.
Right.
You start wording your emails a certain way. And that's with anybody, man. Anybody. We've learned at Swift that if we say certain things, we won't hear from them in a while.
Right. Persona non grata.
But if we say things just a little bit differently, we get an immediate response. Okay. Right. So that's kind of what that there's some homework for you, a little bit. Learn how to communicate with these people. Learn what their triggers are. Learn, with Tony, a lot of our conversations, we might call him about insurance, but you know what? We ask him how his farm's doing.
Right.
And that's
Jeff and I want to go up there this summer and do some work.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. With Colton, I'll ask him, hey, what are you going to hunt this year?
Right.
With Jeff Reese, it's, hey, how's that family of yours?
It's very important.
Yeah, you get to know these people. And this is not from a disingenuous thing. I'm genuinely interested in people.
Right. Don't ask about their family if you don't care. It's going to come through in the conversation. Nobody likes that.
No. But, if you're genuinely interested in people, man, you can build some relationships.
Right.
And this is stuff, Charley, that like, oh, that's that manipulative stuff from How to Win Friends and Influence People. If it's genuine, it's not manipulative.
Right.
Be yourself, but take an interest in people, man. People are interesting. I don't like crowds. I don't like hanging out with people, but I find people interesting. Right. That first year we were in Vegas, Charley, how long did we just sit at that Starbucks and watch the weirdos?
Oh my God. So much fun.
Didn't want to be in the crowd.
Right. But... yeah. Keep the wackos away from me, but I will definitely watch them all day long.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. I mean, look, we talk about relationships and now we're sharing, exactly how we're cultivating those relationships. It's like a garden. You've got to water it. You got to take care of it. You got to look after it, and you got to really care. If you don't care about the garden, I promise you ain't growing nothing that's worth anything. Right? Life, business, relationships, I think it's all the same. If you don't care you get nothing from it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you genuinely need to care. Craig says he loves Sandy. I do too. Trucker Tim said, well, so far this truck is running fine at 500,000 miles. I'm happy having no more payments, but
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes can't help but take it out of the business mindset and into the compassionate mindset. And I get that 1,000%,
Mm-hmm.
but I cannot expect another business to have the same mindset as myself.
Right.
I can hope, I can pray if that's what you do, you know, um, and it can upset you from time to time. I get that. Again, you need to be working with people that have or share the same values as you. Otherwise, it can be a tough relationship.
I would say that, so for what you're looking for, Tim, um, the business that you have a direct relationship with, your customer, your Swift, whoever it is, they're not, I would not expect them to have compassion for you and your little business. But I'm going to say this: we do. People like
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
That's what we're here for, is to, if we can, um, to help you through that, and maybe, make some phone calls for you. Charley and I in the past, we've had some really major maintenance issues happen to
Oh,
people,
Lord.
and they were just not getting satisfaction from Swift.
Right.
So we know who to contact about that, and we do. And you know what? Things get resolved. That's what we're here for. You know, um, I don't like the U word, Charley. You know what the U word is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Union. I don't like that
Right,
sort of talk. I don't like the organization type talk at all.
right.
Um, but we can advocate for people. Absolutely. You got an issue with a carrier, and you're a client of ours at whatever level, and tax with your name involved in it, and saying, hey, let's work something out. Let's get
Right.
this guy back on the road. Let's get this guy profitable again. What programs do you have that can help that process? Oh,
I'm gonna go back here. Sean said maybe I'm too passive, but it's been my experience from CFO. I get one email a month telling me I need you to code these transactions. Maybe I'm just confused about what the service I was getting. I tend to
okay.
ask. Let me finish
Okay.
it. I tend to ask for answers and get a vague answer, and I'll have Colton reach out, and then wait. Go.
This time of year is not the time to get a hold of Cole. I'm just
Well,
going to put that out there. Um, he's going to be busy probably through the end of June. It's about half a year that he works taxes. But so here's my question for you, Sean, is, okay, you say you get one email a month. How many emails do you send? Right? And the level of service you're at, I would be calling you once a week.
right.
You got to be proactive. Um, with any business to business relationship, that's the case. And I don't care how much I like CEO, I like Colton, it's still a business. And unless you're willing to be more proactive, they have other clients that are proactive, and they're the ones that get the service.
Right.
Be that guy.
It's forcing them to produce a better product as well.
Yeah.
You, I, I know it's going to sound weird, but if you've got 1,000 people paying you for a service and they're not making you perform that service, that's gold for a business.
Yep.
May sound sad, but it's real. It's real. Um, Yet the people that are making them do the work, they're actually getting the work done. Right? And again, Sean, we ain't kicking you in the nuts, man. But I like discussion like this. I think this has actually been a pretty good episode. Because we've had some good conversations,
Yeah.
we are coming up on the last 15 minutes. So, I'm going to try and get to some other stuff, but Sean, I feel you. Tim, I definitely feel you, brother. Yeah, let's see. Matthew Nimke, I want to go back to him. He said he's in his last year of his lease. Should he get his MC and DOT numbers? I think that's a discussion that everyone should be having. And I think we can't give you just an easy answer. I think there's a long discussion that needs to be had, Matt. That's just real.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
copping out, I promise.
I would tell you that as a starting point for that conversation, though, is, and you know what's coming. You have to know by now what's coming. Why do you want your own numbers? I mean, especially in this market, why is that something that you want to do right now? I could tell you that there's a weird thing with MC numbers that newer MC numbers tend to not get freight from brokers. So you want to age it a little bit. That would be part of if that's what you want to do, then yeah, I would start pulling the trigger on that.
Or just expect to pull garbage freight for your first year.
Yeah.
Possibly two. You're kind of re-earning your dues, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to build that history. A lot of people, if you haven't been inspected, not just your annual DOT inspection that you got to get on your truck every year, but actually going in and having DOT officers inspect your vehicle and willing to take that chance. And hopefully you're passing those inspections, because Jeff told me this. He found out from one of the other groups. He was asking, well, why is it so many people won't do it? Apparently there's a thing out there where the double brokering is happening and these trucks don't even exist. They give them a VIN number and everything else, and truck doesn't even exist. So they're saying, okay, we want to see some DOT inspections performed by DOT officers that proves your truck is actually out there running around the country or your region or whatever, doing the actual trucking thing. Never thought of it. People suck. That's just a thing. So, those are things. That means if you need to, go in and volunteer. Hey, man, let's roll the dice and see how we're doing today, and give me an inspection, please. I almost feel like, this is going to sound crazy. At least once a quarter, go in and be like, all right, it's that time, man. So make sure your stuff's right. Get in there and get that inspection done. If you're thinking about doing that, it's a thing, man. What else was there?
He says, I don't think I do because I plan on staying with Swift. Well, what about your long-term plans? What about 2-3 years from now?
Right.
We like to see you guys planning further out than next week.
So get this about parking your DOT MC stuff. For a while there, you could get a DOT and MC numbers, right? And put them in a non-working status. And that time would count towards your history. It does not anymore. I don't know when it changed.
Oh, it
but
doesn't?
I was told that someone was talking to me about it, and that I don't know, and I can't verify it. So if someone knows for sure, by all means, comment down below and let us know. Yeah, I think it's where Alan that I got it from. I'm not positive. But they were saying something along the lines that the inactive time is no longer counting. So keep that in mind. There's a thing to it. I don't know. But I think it's definitely something to look into. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. I'm going to go out on a limb here. The time to get your own MC and DOT number is not when the freight is booming. It's actually now.
Yeah. I mean, anticipating the upswing.
The comeback, right. Because you want to be squared away and ready for when it does swing back, and then you can, cash in on that boom, right? Now,
one of the reasons why things are so bad now is because so many people went out and did that in 2020, 2021.
During the boom, yeah.
During the boom. So now we have a glut of trucks. Well, I think that the guys that have been around before all of that boom,
right,
and were out there hustling, building relationships, I think they're still doing okay.
Right.
Those new guys, like I see them all the time in this other group. I just got my authority last week, and I can't get a load that pays more than 50 cents a mile. Well, no duh. You're new. You're competing against these people that have relationships with these brokers that go years.
Wimpy McPope, man with a million excuses, never coming back like the 59 Cadillac. Indeed, it will. I don't think it's ever going to come back like it did during this boom, but there will be an upswing, because it's just like the stock market. Every market has its ups and its downs, and it's a pendulum. It swings up one side, comes down, swings back, comes down, swings up, comes down. You look at every single stock market crash, there has always been a recovery period, and it has always come back stronger than it did before. Now, I'm not going to say the trucking market or the freight market is going to come back stronger than it was during this completely unprecedented chunk of time that we know as the COVID pandemic. But as these people are weeded out of the industry that, let's be real, probably never should have been put in or gotten into it.
Right.
You know, good for them. They got in, made a bunch, and hopefully they got out soon enough without losing their shirts. But a lot of them got in, made a bunch of money, and now are completely losing their shirts and bankruptcy and the whole 9 yards. When those people go back out and the levels, I mean, the freight volumes are still very high. You know, we talked that on about that. I think it was episode 2 or 3 on the podcast, Jeff, where we were talking about the actual freight volumes, and you know, the numbers are actually very high. The problem is that the availability of trucks and trailers is so damn high that you can't see it.
Right.
You know,
Well,
we're still at historical highs.
You know, if you pay attention to like the DAT YouTube show that's every Tuesday morning,
Right.
you know, they have completely stricken 20 and 21 off of their statistical charts. They're all the way back to, okay, we want to see it get back to where it was in 2017.
Right.
That's what they're looking for, because they consider that normal.
Right.
That's where 2017 was the last quote normal year. And so they're always talking about, yeah, we're back to where we were in 2017. So things are looking good. Now we just need more people to exit the market so we can all take advantage of it.
Right.
So,
well, and Sean makes a point. You can have your DOT authority active but not use it. You could. There is a lot of record keeping and bookkeeping and management that goes along with that. So, I mean, keep that in mind. I mean, if you got the time and the resource to do that, by all means. I don't possess the time or the skill for something like that. If you do, by all means,
just have Richie do it.
Yeah, right. You know, but look, that might be a good way to do it, right? And lease on. So okay, I can see the scenario. You're contracted to Swift. You have your own DOT number that's active out there in the world, right? I don't know why you couldn't trip lease onto yourself every now and then. Go run a load here or there. Right, to show the activity on the MC DOT number, right?
Yep.
Maybe get inspected while you're doing that as well. That would affect Swift and your DOT numbers.
Right.
Maybe that's a way to work this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some legal stuff that I am not savvy with, but I think it's definitely something to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it's like Alan's business plan for the long term was to have a fleet of trucks leased to Swift and a fleet of trucks on his own authority running outside freight to kind of get that balance between the two markets.
Victor, I forgot to say buenos tardes, hermano. I saw you earlier, but we were talking. I apologize, man. I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. I saw you, brother. Matt Nipke said, I may go ahead and get my MC and DOT just so that it will start aging. Yeah, and figure out, see if there's a way. See, the downside to that is that insurance, which is expensive. So you need to be able to justify that insurance side, right? And I think that's the problem with it, because like I said, I don't think that if it's inactive, you don't have to have the insurance active. And that's where people were getting away with that. But if you're not getting credit for the aging of it with an inactive, I don't know that there's any benefit there. It's not hard to reactivate it and throw insurance on it, but it's expensive to throw insurance on it.
Yeah. Oh crap.
CW, hang on. CW, hate watching reruns. Hey, you do it, man. We appreciate you, brother. And I know you're one of our replay warrior guys. And look, there's Donna. Good show, guys. Been listening.
I'm in trouble now.
Yep. He said some bad things, Donna, and you should definitely call him right after the show and have a talk with him. Because
I'm going to bed.
No. You got things to do, sir. Jeff's on this tight load right now, which is funny because it's just fun to watch.
Hey, I'm pacing for an hour ahead of schedule right now.
Nice. Jeff was doing 70 miles an hour a day Just throwing it out there.
Oh man, it's just well,
He's so out of his comfort
right,
zone. Right.
freaking that. And my T call was supposed to get here like in the middle of the night. It didn't get here till this morning. I mean, so by my mind, I'm 5 hours behind
Right. Right.
because
I get
I
that.
expected to get to Memphis to do the show, not North Little Rock.
Right.
Ah,
All right, guys, we're getting pretty close to the end of this thing. I'm going to do some quick commercials because why not? Check out Trucker CFO, truckercfo.com. You can give the folks at Seabright a call, 800-366-6466. You could reach out for the ES Advantage fuel card that we like to promote to people. You can go right there to that website, Contractors Corner. ESSuccessandtrucking.com/CC. You can find that information on our website right there at contractorscorner.cc. The podcast is running. Check that out. We got a lot of stuff going on. I hope you guys can appreciate some of it and let us know what you think of everything we've got going on. And please make sure you comment. If you're watching this on the replay, CW, make sure you hit us down there in the comments. Hey me. Hey me.
And that's why I mentioned real quick too, Charlie, that regardless of where you get your podcast from, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever, go check out podwheels.com where it was originally put up and produced. They're trying to build something over there. They're trying to build something over there in conjunction with Radio Nemo, a podcast network that's all trucking all the time. So, go over there, check them out, give them a little love. It's a business just like all of us, and their success or failure is going to depend on us basically listening to their stuff. And we think they've got some pretty cool stuff.
And don't remember. That's great. Don't forget, you do not have to be a Swift contractor to participate in any of the things that we're offering. This stuff is open to everyone in the trucking industry, whether you got your own numbers, you're contracted to another carrier, what have you. It doesn't matter. This isn't Swift specific. So don't think that it is. I'm slouching. God, I see how far down I am in my seat. I keep, look. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that's where I was. I'm just saying, oh, my posture. This is why I get these headaches. My neck starts doing this, and oh man.
Get it to yourself, Charlie.
I know, dude. I know. It's look, break your back and we'll talk about it. You guys, seriously, thank you for spending some time with us. We do appreciate you being here. If there's anything you want us to talk about on the podcast, please let us know. Hit us up in the comments here. Hit us up in the comments on the podcast. Shoot us a message. Don't try and get a hold of me on Facebook because I still can't get in.
I can.
Get a hold of Jeff right now.
Anytime I'm in the Contractors Corner profile right now, Charlie, I tell people that I'm you and I piss them off.
Oh, great. Thanks, man. That sounds legit. I could totally see that too. That's the funny thing. You guys be safe. Take care of each other. There's no one out here looking after us but us. Be safe. Be healthy. Take care of yourself. And we will see you right back here next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, every Tuesday. And that's every Tuesday. Look, I've done 2 shows on days I've had surgery. I've made it for every single week since we started this train wreck of a show. Jeff hasn't, but I have. I'm a toot my own horn right here, but that's okay. We're dedicated to being here for you guys one way or another. So we hope that you appreciate that, and we will see you here next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Contractors Corner Consulting Group's YouTubes. And I will say it, I love you guys. Be safe.